I remember the silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence that screams from within. It was as if the world had stopped for a second, an eternal second. I held my breath, sweat trickling down my back, my eyes open, searching for someone in the total darkness. It was there, standing in the middle of nowhere, that I understood. It wasn't my body imprisoning me. It was something deeper, invisible, insistent, a silent force that was pulling me away from what I could be. Outwardly, I was fit, training, meditating, fighting. Inwardly, I was at war, mired in confusion, driven by a drive I didn't fully understand, an energy that overwhelmed me, tore at my chest, made my heart race, leaving me unfocused, lost, furious, and yet full of desire. But it wasn't just physical desire. It was something more, a life force no one had taught me how to use, much less harness. Bruce Lee knew this. He discovered this power before almost anyone else and turned it into a technique, a mental technique so powerful that almost no one dares to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, because it breaks taboos, because it forces us to look within ourselves with brutal honesty. And the most surprising thing is that this technique is directly linked to sexual energy. But be careful, this isn't about sex as empty pleasure, an impulse or a distraction. It's about a creative energy, an engine of inner power. And it's not something you learn in the gym, see in viral videos, or find in ordinary books. It's hidden between the lines. It's hidden between the lines of Bruce Lee himself, because he didn't scream. He codified, he left clues. Most people never realized it, but Bruce Lee spoke constantly of inner energy, of fluid force, of channeling impulses. Mystical words for those who live on the surface, but practical for those who live the real fight, the mental fight. You see, your greatest enemy is neither lack of discipline, nor lack of time, nor external difficulties. Your greatest enemy is what you repress, what you pretend not to feel, what you are ashamed to look at, what you turn into addiction or denial, what you do with your own sexual energy. If you run away from it, it torments you. If you try to destroy it, it is reborn with increased strength. But if you learn to transform it, to transmute it, it becomes creative fire. And Bruce Lee understood this before most. He used this energy as fuel, not for self-gratification, but to surpass himself. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with me? I'm not Bruce Lee. All because you feel it too, you struggle too. You are sabotaged by this energy when you don't know what to do with it. How many times have you felt too tired to act, yet overwhelmed by your impulses? How many times have you been trapped by distractions, compulsions, and procrastination? How many times have you sacrificed your creativity for momentary relief? That's sexual energy misdirected. That's wasted power. And no, this isn't spiritualist or alternative talk. It's biology, neuroscience, psychoanalysis, performance psychology. The masters of sport, art, philosophy, and war have always known it. He who masters his own life force masters the game. The problem is that you've been taught to deny it, to be ashamed, to keep everything in a dark drawer and pretend it doesn't exist. But what you repress controls you, and that's why you continue to feel divided. One part of you yearns to evolve, another to disappear, another to achieve its goals, and yet another to escape. This inner conflict is fueled by your inability to manage the rawest, most powerful force in your body. Bruce Lee not only confronted it, but also trained it. Yes, he trained his sexual energy like you train a muscle. Like you train your mind, like you polish a rough diamond. It's not in the movies. It's behind the scenes, in the little red texts, in the subtext of his interviews, in his way of speaking, of controlling without repressing, of expressing without shame, of being like water. Because water doesn't deny the flow, it guides it. Here's a truth few dare to face. Your mind is being sabotaged by an energy you pretend you don't feel. Until you learn to control it, it will continue to dominate you. The perfectionist in you wants to hide it, to pretend you don't feel it. The inner critic calls it weakness. The addict looks for an escape in everything. Social media, pornography, food, distractions. But the warrior in you knows. It senses and understands that there is power in it, and that this power can be your greatest weapon or your greatest burden. I too ran from it. For years, I treated my sexual energy as a problem, something to be contained, ignored, or simply relieved. It was only after many mistakes, repeated cycles, sleepless nights, broken promises, and wasted potential that I began to understand. to study, to experiment, to honestly observe myself. And that's when everything changed. I discovered that the same impulse that drove me to procrastinate could be used to create, that the same tension that caused me anxiety could be transformed into focus, that the same desire that distracted me could be transmuted into discipline. I discovered that the key wasn't to control, but to channel, direct, and sublimate. Bruce Lee spoke of not resisting, but absorbing and redirecting. This applies to blows, emotions, and especially sex. He understood that this energy is neither dirty nor sacred. It's neutral, the basis of life, and that everything depends on what you do with it. Want a simple example? Artists who enter a deep creative flow often use that same energy in subtle, unconscious ways. Passionate people create more, perform better, and have more courage. Why? Because the energy is active. It flows. But many don't know how to keep it active without becoming compulsive. This is the art, the secret that few share, keeping the flame burning without burning everything. And to achieve this, it takes technique, awareness, and practice. Bruce Lee used practices we would now call tantric meditation, conscious breathing, and energetic sublimation. He described them in code. The art of fighting without fighting is also this: winning without inner war, conquering without denying your feelings, dominating without repressing. The Western mind scoffs at this, mocking what it doesn't understand. It dismisses as esoteric, nonsense, anything that escapes its control through numbers and logic. But Bruce Lee was never just Western. He united East and West within himself, a body of steel, a mind of water, a mind of fire, and that fire was real and came from within. He knew that fighting was more than just winning. That winning was more than just defeating the other. He was preparing to defeat himself. And to do that, he needed the most powerful force there was, one born of desire. Not the desire to have, but the desire to be. This is where the turning point comes, because most people use that energy only for fleeting pleasure. Bruce used it as a springboard to awareness. Where others sought relief, he sought expansion. And that changes everything. Most people live in a cycle: tension, desire, pleasure, guilt, and it repeats itself over and over again. Without realizing it, they become slaves to an energy that could liberate them. They surrender their power to distractions, channeling their creative potential into nothingness. And you feel it, you know it, because deep down we all know it. Every time you let yourself be carried away by distraction, haste, impulse, a part of you dies a little. The part that wanted to build something, that wanted to leave a mark, that wanted more from life. But there is a way out, and it's not complex, it's subtle. Begin with awareness. Notice, observe, breathe. Acknowledge your impulses without judging them, without trying to hide them. When you feel desire, it's an energy that rises. Don't repress it. Don't automatically release it, direct it. Second practice, breathing. Not the shallow breathing of someone who just wants to appear calm. Breathe deeply and presently. Inhale, sit, exhale, direct. You can move energy with your breath. From the sexual center to the heart, from the heart to the mind, from the mind to action. It's alchemy, it's real. Third practice, cultivate. Create instead of consume. The energy you've stored up needs to be expressed. Paint, write, practice, build something. Speak with presence. Do what you need to do, but with intention. This creates a bridge between your impulse and your purpose. These three practices are revolutionary. They sound simple, but they are because they teach you something no one else has taught you. True mastery lies not in repression, but in integration, and true power comes when you stop being ashamed of who you are. Bruce Lee said the key is honesty with yourself, and that's the hardest part, because being honest means facing what hurts. It means saying, yes, I have desires. Yes, I get distracted. Yes, I get lost. But now I choose to do things differently. He wasn't perfect. He was human. He had flaws, doubts, and fears. But instead of running away from them, he used them, transformed them, burned them in his own furnace, and came out stronger. You can do the same. You don't need magic formulas, gurus, or expensive retreats. You need courage. The courage to look within, the courage to feel, the courage to begin. Starting today, observe your energy. When you feel the need, stop, breathe, ask yourself, what do I really want? Not pleasure, but power. Not relief, but building. The answer will come and transform you. Remember, the greatest battlefield is invisible, and your most powerful weapon is in your hands. In your essence, where everyone told you to ignore, where Bruce Lee learned to cultivate. This is the forbidden technique. Forbidden because it liberates. Forbidden because it empowers. Because it transforms the body into a temple, the mind into a sword, and energy into direction. And the best part? You don't have to become someone else. You just have to be yourself, with power, presence, and truth. The greatest victory is not dominating the world, but dominating yourself. It's living with integrity. It's moving forward with purpose. It's channeling every ounce of your energy into what you were born to do. Now look in the mirror. Don't run away, don't look down. The warrior is there. The creator is there, the transformer is there. The energy is vibrating. What will you do with it? The choice is yours. Don't look for an opponent. Look for awareness. The mirror awaits you. You already have the key. Open the door.